Well, welcome back everybody. Jet Scott here as always, the Scott's Beach Up, and today we are digging into the Barracuda because, as you saw in the last video, we had a slight malfunction. And that malfunction came in the form of two blown head gaskets, engine running like crap. So, as you know, we didn't do anything with the bottom end of this motorhome engine, and it ran pretty good on the run stand, but we never ran it too much. So it's hard to say whether or not we popped these head gaskets or if they were already popped. I know this engine had been run several times without coolant in it and probably got overheated once or twice. And it's hard to say what its life was like in the motorhome or the truck, whatever it was in previously. And who's been through it, if anybody's been through it, because I know I've never showed it on video, but some of the valve springs and retainers on one of the heads they don't match the rest. So in this video, we are going to pull this engine back apart, and since we've got to pull the heads off now, this is the reason why we never did it before, is, you know, when you take the heads off, where do you stop? Where do you stop adding parts to make it better and better? Well, I don't trust those heads, neither does Dad. So we're going to be changing the valve springs at least, which comes in the form of, we went to go order valve springs for our new cam setup we picked out for this engine, because yes, we're going to do a cam in it now. Well, we couldn't get the retainers locks to go with the springs, so that comes into, well crap, the only way we can get the valve springs we need to match the cam is to buy a set of heads. So we bought a set of Edelbrock aluminum heads, which we did not want on this engine, but we did it anyways. And we got a whole bunch of other good stuff to put in this engine to make it last, as long as we don't find nothing wrong with the short block. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And yes, I know I already spoiled it for you, but you got some great things coming. So let's get this engine tore apart and see what we can find. Oh, before we start tearing into this Barracuda, exhaust plugs. Anybody was curious how we're going to plug those little silicone pieces we used to actually match the headers up. And I wanted to get people's opinions. So we got our louvers. I painted the inserts with a candy gold. That's why they're kind of shiny. Trimmed that one for the blower. Painted the hood black. I couldn't stand the blue that was on there. What do you guys think? Give me some ideas down in them comments below. What you think we ought to do with that hood? Alrighty, we got the passenger side header off. This side of the block is drained, radiator's drained, driver's side is still draining in the pan. Just want to show you the spark plugs. It was not leaking water into the combustion chamber. These are all dry. So part of our cam break-in, because we don't know if we got an issue with the blower intake or if we got a problem with the blower or the carburetors, what's going on. So when we put in our new cam, and we got to do our cam break-in, which is terrifying, hydraulic flat tap, it's the only thing we can afford at the moment. Solid roller is it's just way too much. You know, especially we found a really good deal on a Lunati Voodoo cam. It's got all the right specs for this blower engine, and it was like 266 bucks with cam and lifters. You can't even touch the lifters for that price for a roller setup, so wish us luck. So yeah, everything looks pretty good. So no water in the cylinders on this side. We'll get, once the coolant's draining on that side, we'll get those plugs pulled. We'll show you those. But other than that, I'm not going to show you a whole lot of disassembly. My brother still got my GoPros, so really no speed footage. I'm just going to be trucking. Get this thing as far apart as I can tonight. Alright, other header is off. Everything looks about the same. Spark plugs are all about the same as the other side. None of them are wet with coolant, so that's good. And double checked them. Alright, let's get the rest of it apart. Well. I was looking at these carburetors I was draining the fuel, and it's like, that looks kind of weird. Something just doesn't seem right, and I was opening it, and it's like, huh. One of these is not like the rest. That sucks. Alright, your update on the carburetors. It is just this one. It broke the screws on the butterfly. It looks like someone tried to grind them off, and that pulled through. Why I did it, I'm not sure. I just texted the guy I bought those carburetors from and said they were supposed to be good to go, ready to rock and roll. That's why you don't buy already rebuilt carburetors and trust a guy, even if he's super cool. I don't think Bud meant to do that. I don't think he would do that. He was pretty freaking cool, but it still sucks. But that's why we have that gasket on top of the blower with the screen. So even if anything found its way down, there's no way it got to that screen. Not a chance. So Hopefully. Alrighty, well, Anna's here. She's helping me. We just got the blower off. Blower looks fine. Did find inside of the blower's caked in gas and oil mix. That's rather interesting. Found our vacuum leak. When our pop-off valve did its job in the video, which I don't know if I ever got that shown where this was shooting fire out of it, it sucked the gasket in, and you can kind of see that it's kind of missing in some places. And here you can, if we just that's the gasket being all crunchy, and you can see the burn marks right there on the paint and all around this thing where it was erupting fire because it had a huge vacuum leak, wouldn't idle down. It's rather interesting. And I remembered there's this nice crack right here. Oh, look at that, it just rubbed soot off. And I'm gonna have to weld that crack up right there. I totally forgot about that. So we'll be taking the pop-off valve off, which will be scary.
Yeah. And
hopefully we'll get it set right, and we'll get a new gasket made, and hopefully it won't have the same problems this one's having. That's probably the original or some shit. Anyways, we get the intake off, valve covers off, get these heads off. Like I said, that's the plan tonight, get the heads off. Alright, so looking inside the engine, looks the same as it used to. There's a little bit of gas in here. The crossovers here were full of freaking gas for some reason. And yeah. So I'm gonna rotate this engine around, see what the cam looks like. But regardless, the cam's coming out, it's getting tossed. Alrighty, rockers are off, push rods are off. Figured out why the valves got different everything on them. Those are the exhaust ports. See, exhaust, exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust, exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust. Why it's like that, I couldn't tell you, nor do I really care. These heads are going, because we got better stuff. All right, Anna, this is a great example of right tool for the right job. That big proto ratchet, make quick work of any of them head bolts.
Yeah.
Yeah, try not to lose that.
And then you come down here?
Yep.
Okay.
Just work your way across. We're not super worried about detorquing these heads. Detorquing the rocker arms is more important because we're going to kind of have to reuse those because I don't have cool guy rocker assemblies. Alright, Anna's going to get that side. I'm going to get the rest of these head bolts out. I already broke all mine loose. That head will come off. That head will come off. We'll check out the combustion chambers. We'll check out the heads. Check out the pistons. Check out the cylinders. And get everything cleaned up. So when all of our new parts show up, hopefully tomorrow, we can start reassembly.
That easily?
Look at you, Anna.
Yeah, I was not expecting that to come out that easily. I thought it was going to take a little bit of force. I was just like, pop.
Well, this cylinder's pretty gnarly, actually, looking at it. Looks like this engine was stuck at one time and someone unstuck it.
Unstuck it?
Unstuck it. Let's see, how do we look in this one? About the same. So these head gaskets are indeed originals. Look at that, the Pentastar. Oh, I'll hang one of those up. Head looks pretty much well what you'd expect. What casting do we have? 452. Yep, that's what I expected. 452 heads. Yep. So really nothing wrong with the head that I can see right off the cuff. Alright, well, we'll get the heads out of here. We'll get all this cleaned up and start taking that front dress off either tonight or tomorrow. Might as well go ahead and do it. It's still daylight out.
Yeah, we have plenty of time.
Yep. Alright, well, here's your update for the sake of updates. I'm an idiot. I didn't think about it when we took the water pump off that there's no way the gasket seal and silicone is going to hold the front of the engine up. Yeah, it hit the ground. Oh, it hit the oil pan on the K-member. Not super hard. We got the old time machine cover off, and everything looks pretty dang good. Cam's not flat at all. It's perfect, actually. It's immaculate. I'm kind of really don't even want to put it in the other cam because, you know, that one could go flat, whereas this one's fine, but it will go for it. All right, well, that's where we're going to leave it tonight. Dad was messing with that to make sure it didn't jump time or something. I don't think it did, but I guess tomorrow, do a bunch of cleaning and show you all the new parts that are been going on the Barracuda. Let me show you what we got. Holy mother of Jegs boxes. Yeah, that is everything to fix this engine, which, by the way, I was talking with a viewer actually last night, and as it turns out, I was wrong. I don't think we ever popped head gaskets. I know we had some timing issues, and the blower intake had a huge vacuum leak, so that was part of that problem. But apparently all the exhaust port bolts are all go to water on a big block, and I guess I've been playing with small blocks way too much because I thought it was just the outer two. So most of this is unnecessary now, but you know what? We've already got it. We might as well go ahead and just upgrade it. So we're going to give Anna the camera, and we're going to start unboxing this crap. By the way, thank you, William, for letting me keep your knife that Dad stole from you at No Name Naturals. It's very fantastic. Okay, so we got gaskets. We got a Neely pad. We have, oh boy, we have an aluminum cylinder head. More gaskets. More gaskets. We have freeze plugs. We have Dad a t-shirt, which he just left, so. We have another cylinder head, more bubble wrap. Oh. So we didn't want to put a cam in the engine because we didn't want to take the heads off initially. But now the heads are off. Let's go and upgrade the cam. So we got a Lunati Voodoo 112 LSA, about 500 lift, 220 duration. Yeah, it'll be fine. Matching bracket master timing chain set because it goes to a 3-bolt. Bolts from Edelbrock. Buy all this from Jegs. Jegs is who we do business with. We got the matching Edelbrock head gaskets, Felpro blue style. Felpro blues. We also got new valve cover gaskets, thank God, because those broke. We have water restrictor plates for the water pump. More gaskets. And this will be on the engine for a short period of time, then we'll probably sell it. It's I think a Torque 2 intake, brand new from Edelbrock. So when we break in the cam, we are only dealing with a single carburetor and no more issues. Well, push rods. There's my brother, back from Hawaii. Got in here. How pretty are they? Are
How
these
pretty
just like...
are they?
Ooh.
Hi.
Everybody say something nice to Michael. He's freshly married.
Mm-hmm.
Let's all say a prayer and hope to God this one goes well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cut that. All right, everybody. Well, we're trucking right along. I'm cleaning all the rockers up because they were filthy and nasty. Anna's cleaning up a bunch of parts where all the silicone and gasket was. Mom was helping. Now she's doing the gutters because that needs to be done. Mom helped me vacuum out the engine. We got it pretty well clean. Probably going to go over one more time with some brake cleaner, just clean the deck surfaces. I got to get that gear off, get the cam out, get the lifters out. We're actually going to probably save those, put those somewhere safe because, well, the cam's not hurt at all. We might be able to use it some other day, which we will never, but being a hoarder, you know, never hurts anything. All right, that's our Lunati cam. We just sauced it up. You know something that's really messed up right now? I was thinking maybe it's just the bad angle I was trying to put this in at. Go over here, Anna. I know it's not going to be a good angle. We got to have someone to pull the grill out a little bit. There we go. Look at this. Look at that. Doesn't fit at all. Alrighty, guys. So the last time you saw us with the Barracuda, it was what was that? Saturday, when we were trying to do the cam, and we found that Ford cam in the Mopar box with the Mopar number etched on it. And I hated filming that video for you guys. I really didn't want to be that guy, but I had to be that guy. Jegs, they got us sorted out. They sent us the right cam. I tried to call Lunati, but I gave up because it was just, I spent like an hour on the freaking hold. And I just said, screw it, I got too much other stuff I got to do. So I broke out the straight edge, checked all these new lifters, and they do rock back and forth. They got a little bit of crown to them, so that's good. One thing I did do all off camera is we had a couple of hairline cracks through the bolt holes on the blower intake. So it's taken me probably 6 hours just in lapping. But I drilled the holes out completely, plugged them with some plugs I made on the lathe, TIG welded them, and yeah, you'll see some porosity chalk marks, but if you've never welded cast aluminum, you have no idea. So What I did was I put a piece of sandpaper on the back side of this and went through several pieces of paper and lots of hours and lapped this in just back and forth, up and down and around until we finally got this finish and it's perfectly flat. I put Dicom on there every once in a while and checked it, and it's perfectly flat. So now we'll put that back on there, remark our holes, drill and tap them, and we'll put our pop-off valve back on. We'll have to make a new gasket because that was part of the reason why it was running so weird, was they had a huge vacuum leak because it destroyed the gasket and it was sucking air through there. That'd be a huge vacuum leak. So we got the cam here, we got a bunch of break-in lube, everything we can do to give this cam a chance to survive. All right, just showing you proof of concept. Every lifter's got a nice dollop of the break-in grease on it. As I use the whole packet. I wish they'd give you more. Every cam lobe is sauced up as much as I could, rubbed all the way around, and then there's little dollops on top. And I'm gonna top that with a little more of my break-in grease, which is what I've always used for breaking in cams. Never had an issue. It's white lithium. You don't want to leave that stuff sitting out in an engine because it forms kind of a glue. You could use the black moly graphite, but the problem with it is, well, it's all sparkly, and once it goes into your oil and it mixes in for the cam break-in, when you drain it, you don't really know if you flatten your cam or not. So we're going to use this. That way we can hope and pray to God we don't have any issues. All right, I'm going to sauce up the sides of those lifters, a little bit of that, so that way they spin easy. And we're going to drop them all in. And again, guys, please say a prayer. Oh, we finally got the timing chain back on. That's always fun, especially when the oil pan is stuck up in place. So we got that back on there. It's all glued in. Don't know how much more we're going to go with this because we got to go down and get Mom a new battery for her car. And it's getting late. I don't know if I want to be out here in the middle of the night putting heads on, but I might be. Alrighty, just so the world knows, I'm out here. It's pitch black outside. Harmonic balancers on, water pumps on, motor plates on, bolted to the frame, crank pulley, all that stuff. Loctited, placed in there, permanently set with Loctite, lock washers, all that stuff. Cover the engine up tomorrow. Head gaskets, heads, push rods, rockers, single 4. Get the carburetors fixed, put them on, hook everything back up. And cam break-in will probably be, let's see, today's Tuesday, so that'd be Wednesday work day. Thursday will probably be cam break-in, which is Anna's birthday. So, well, engine looks good now. Check the heads over pretty good. A little bit of casting flash and stuff, but nothing terrible. I mean, it's really not that bad. I mean, especially for a head that was made about the same time as that old cam was. Wiped everything down with isopropyl alcohol because brake clean's almost impossible to get anymore. So we're gonna throw some bolts in these just to loosely clamp them down. We're gonna throw our set of rockers on there. We're gonna check our push rod lengths if we got push rods that'll work, and then we'll get ready to put the single 4 barrel on here, get the distributor stabbed, and yada yada blah blah blah. Get ready for cam break-in. All right, just to prove to the world that we are doing things the right way. First off, let's go ahead and say this. Let's get this out of the way. We can't change valve springs to go to a lighter spring because there are no valve springs available to pick from, and the stock valve springs have a different stem diameter than these do. So I can't take the old springs off the old heads and put them on these heads for a lighter spring for break-in. That's actually part of the reason why we bought these heads, is because we couldn't get the locks or retainers to match the springs we needed for this cam. The only way we could get it was by buying the complete heads. So with that out of the way, all right, we put the studs in here the Edelbrock once, and we've run everything down evenly, starting from the center, working our way out in a gradual pattern. And we still have push rods that spin nice and easy, but they're not loose, so that's good. So those new push rods are just a little bit longer than the stock ones to take up for the room, that those heads are a little bit taller than the originals. So with that out of the way, now I can take that back off. We'll torque the heads down in our 3-stage sequence, oil everything up, and get ready to put our intake on. Well, there's your heads torqued, 40, 55 to 70. Double checked everything. Went back over it every single time, one more time. Technically, I torqued the heads twice. Just want to make sure they were on there and everything was good. We're gonna sauce it up, because I always sauce the engine while it's like this. It's easier to fill it. And we'll douse the rockers with the tips, that way they got a little bit of lubrication on them. And we'll double check the push rods again, and we'll torque those down, and then valley, single 4, and then all the other crap that goes on around that. So you have to all right, well, there's your Torker 2 440 intake. It's actually a really nice intake. I figure we're gonna break this in with a temporary intake just to resell the intake. Let's get a really good looking intake that will work exceptionally well on not only this, if we decided to ever go back to a single 4, or for someone else's build. This intake is one of the intakes I like the most, because it's a long runner single plane. So it's a lot like a Street Dominator for a big block, which is widely regarded as the best intake. Yes, I know, stock rockers. I don't have adjustable rockers for a big block extra laying around, so we'll be looking out for several of those in the future. But that's all tightened down. Valley pan gaskets. Actually, that Jegs valley pan gasket set's a really nice gasket set. I'd recommend that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get valve covers bolted down. You people smell that? That is the smell of progress. AKA headers are on. So we're ditching the aluminum gaskets because well, they're soaked in coolant, and we went with my old tried and true coppers with a little bit of red RTV on either side to seal them up to the ports. Those are on, and it helped me get that side on. Well, she kind of helped on that side too. We got a little more tire clearance because Edelbrock says the exhaust flanges are pushed out a little bit, and actually we do have a little more tire clearance. You can see the old rub mark right there, which at some point I'll come back and beat the crap out of that with a sledgehammer. Regulator is custom perfection. Check that out. That's called, I don't want to make another set of alien lines for this temporary setup. And yes, this is one of the 660s off of the blower. I swapped out base plates with some that didn't have holes drilled, and also base plates that didn't have a busted open freaking butterfly. So that should be good. That's all plumb tight. Got to put the valve cover bolts on, distributor, cooling system, and it'll be ready to fire off and hopefully not wipe a cam. All right, everybody. Bro, rewind about a week and a half ago when this was all set up with a blower and all that junk. As you figured out, as we learned, I am very forgetful. It's been over 5 years since I've messed with a stock big block. All the header bolts go to water. I thought it was just the outside too. That's only on a small block. I was wrong. We did not pop the head gasket, but you know what? Now we ain't got to worry about sealing on the header bolts because we have aluminum heads. And as Dad said, it is an expensive way to get around that, but it's a way, right? So we have lots of zinc additive. Everything's been coated with white lithium engine assembly grease for the first break-in, first fire. Distributor should be set up, ready to go. By the way, you missed a bunch, but I didn't film it. Had to pull the valve covers back off and reseal them because the gaskets were just pouring oil at the bottom, so silicone setting up just a little bit. But we should be ready to go. Dad got the fan on last night, got that wired, so we have an electric fan now to help keep the engine cool. It's full of coolant with antifreeze and water wetter, so that way this thing can sit over winter, not to drain the whole system. But she should be ready to rock and roll. We just have to set fuel pressure, and hopefully this thing will light right off, and hope and pray to God everything goes well. So the next time you'll see this. So guys, you're gonna probably see a lot of smoke off the headers. Brand new Fel-Pro valve cover gaskets leaking like a sieve. It's not ideal, but it's the day and age we live in. Ready? Yeah. Alright, so far, other than the valve cover leak, it's really annoying. But all the cylinders are still firing. But the radiator fan, that electric fan is not keeping up at all. It's getting up to 240 degrees right now, or whatever it was. It wasn't 240, but it was getting this creeping up slowly. Of course, it might just be too much timing. I don't know. Yeah, she's at 220. But
about 15 minutes.
Yeah, we're close. Let her simmer for a little bit. All right, I'm gonna check the dipstick again. Been doing this periodically. There's my bag. I mean, there ain't nothing but clean oil on that. I mean, it's just your normal stuff for when you're breaking stuff in. And we're just gonna let her kind of simmer for a little bit. Definitely gonna have to find valve cover gaskets. That's for sure. Because these T-bolts are all tight as they can get. In fact, you can see it's just blowing oil everywhere. Alright, well, that'll be it for now. Alright guys and gals, we apologize to the neighborhood, but that was nerve-wracking as crap. So it's oil pressure dropped down because the valve cover's leaking that bad. I know it's stupid, but god dang it, we're not going to wait on another pair of valve cover gaskets. However, it has survived the 20-minute break-in. The oil on the dipstick is clean. It's low, but it is clean still. I haven't been able to listen to it at any kind of low RPM because now it needs to cool off because it's back up to 200 degrees. And we need to drain the oil and all that stuff. But you guys will see that next time to see if this thing survived the cam break-in. God, I hope it did. Because that would suck if it didn't. So guys, as always, thank you for checking this out. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one as always. Oh, and tell her Anna happy birthday because today is her birthday. Her first official cam break-in on her birthday. Anna, what says you? How was it?
That was the most nerve-wracking thing on the face of the planet.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So, as always, guys, thank you for checking it out. Dad, what do you got to say besides your awesome freaking Jegs Tech t-shirt? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hannah, come over here. She's 40 now.
I'm not 40.
She's 40.
I'm 29.
50.
You're 30.
Not 30 yet, dang it.